Hey guys, we're on CMAS 7 daily practice. We're going to start with an investigation. Our task here is actually just to see which of these equations matches the story, and then we're going to explain why it doesn't match. So our story goes like this. Andy currently runs a total of 12 miles each week. He plans to increase the number of miles he runs each week by 1.5 miles until he is running a total of 26 miles each week. Which equation can be used to determine x, the number of weeks that it will take Andy to reach his goal? For each incorrect equation, explain why it will not work. So if we look at our problem, we know he's already at 12. We know he's going to increase 1.5 each week until he gets to 26. So looking at these things, I know 12 should be alone because it's just what he is starting out with. Alone. And 1.5 should go with x because that's what's happening as the increase each week. And then because it's increased, these two things need to be added. If I look at my equations, they all equal 26, so we don't really need to worry about that. So looking through, I know I need a 12 by itself, a 1.5x, and those two things need to be added. Equation A actually has all of that. So yes, these are my reasons. Now we're going to go through each one and say, so all the other ones are no. We're going to say what's wrong. So if I look at equation B, because there are parentheses here, this actually means that x is being multiplied by both. And we already said 12 should be by itself. So this one is wrong because x shouldn't be multiplied with 12. And we can actually say the same thing for the next one because, again, we have parentheses. So if we do 12 times 1.5 and 12 times x, no good. Also, another thing wrong with C, we have 1.5 plus x, not times. And then last one, choice D, we have no 1.5 times x. So here there's nothing happening weekly. It's just all being added. That's no good. Okay, so today's key points, you guys, are more general. Instead of having like steps, I just want you to, every time you come across a multiple part question or a word problem, read it and then summarize the situation. Make sure you know what the question is asking. That's a question mark. And make a plan. Making a plan requires you to identify what you need to be able to answer the question and to know how you're going to get it. You're going to use the information given to write and solve an equation if the question asks you to. Or you'll see this in our guided example, follow your plan. You need to identify all your variables so you know what's happening and so that you know how to substitute the information given. So we're going to do one more guided problem and then you guys are free to work on your practice. Let's go ahead and read what we have. So Howard has a garden in the shape of a rectangle. Right away, I know there's going to be a rectangle, so I'm going to draw a rectangle. The length is 5.4 meters, so let's label. And the width is 1.5 meters. On a rectangle, you guys, length is always the longer side. You can think length means long, so the longer side is the bigger number. Now, we know Howard is going to increase both the length and the width by 20% each. So this is going to be changed to make a larger garden. And I want to know what will be the perimeter of this enlarged garden. So the second garden, what is the perimeter? Now, in order to find perimeter, I know that perimeter means the outside of a shape. So I need to add up all the sides, but I don't know the sides until I do this increase part. So first thing, anytime we see a percent, we could think proportions or decimals. I'm going to show you guys with decimals because I think that's a little easier. So 20% is going to be increased. Increase tells me this is an addition problem. And since it's a percent, I'm going to start with 100%, and I'm going to add 20% to give me 120%. 120% as a decimal is 1.2. So 1.2 is the number I'm going to multiply both the length and the width by to represent the 20% increase. So I'm going to go to my scratch space over here. 1.5 times 1.2 is going to give me my new width. And make sure you're placing your decimal. We have two digits after the decimal. So we need 2 digits after the decimal. Our new height is 1.8 meters. And then our new width, still multiplying by 1.2 because that is our percent. Don't forget your placeholder 0. Multiply and add. And place your decimal. Again, 2 digits after the decimal. 2 digits. So we have 648 meters. Okay, now I have my percentage done, so I'm going to check this off because that part's done. Now I can focus on the question, which is, what will be the perimeter, it's right here, of the garden? So I have a 648 and I have a 1.8. But we're missing the other two sides. So rectangles are cool because I know 648 is also up here and 1.8 is also over here. That's an 8, sorry guys. So I'm going to just add up all 4 of those sides. So 648, there's 2 of them, and 1.8, there's 2 of them. 8 plus 0 plus 0 is 16. 4 plus 1 is 5, plus 4 is 9, plus 8 is 27, plus 8 is 35. That was a lot of adding. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 6 is 15, 16. Whoa, sorry. 3 plus 6 is 9, plus 6 is 15, 16, 56. So we have 16.56, and our units here, they said, was meters. All right, last part. We have by how many square meters will the area of the garden increase? So when I'm thinking about area now, I know area equals length times width, but I'm wanting to know the increase, so I'm going to have to do the new garden minus the starting garden. So I have to calculate 2 areas right now. So for the new garden, we have 648 times 1.8. For the starting garden, we had 5.4 times 1.5. So we can go ahead and multiply. Make sure you're careful with your carrying. 6 times 8 is 48, so 51. Placeholder 0, I'm going to scribble these out so I don't get distracted. 1 times 8, 1 times 4, 1 times 6, and add. So 11.664 is my new garden. Is my new garden. And then the first garden looks like my area was, that's a 1, 8.10. So now to find the increase, I'm just going to subtract. Fill in my zeros. Bring down my decimal. And we are done. Last thing here is units. We're still in meters, but since I'm talking about area, I'm imagining this whole thing is being filled in. So it's going to be meters squared. Also, they said square meters, so that is another reason I know. Okay, you guys, make sure you're making plans today. Make sure you're following those plans, showing all your steps. Obviously, we had a bunch of scratch work on this problem, so that's what we should see in the rest of your packet. You guys are going to crush your CMAS test this week. Me and Miss O'Hare know how great you guys are. We've seen it all year, and we're really excited for everyone else to see it too. So good luck. Be confident. You guys rock.